This performance from Peder Fredriksson and Malin Baryard Jonsson made sure that the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, left Stockholm as the new championship leaders. But now we get ready to move away from Stockholm, an event that saw a real shake-up in the overall top four as well. And we say goodbye to Stockholm and bonjour Paris as we get ready for stage 9. A stage that will also show us the new look mid-season transfers in the GCL. So let's get ready and head to Paris.
The city of love, culture, and elegance. Paris will be the 9th stage of this epic tour. The most fierce horses and their passionate riders on the highest class show jumping competition. Longines Global Champions Tour at Champ de Mars from the 24th to the 26th of June.
It was a stage that really shook up the Global Champions League, and you can only begin to wonder what kind of impact Paris is going to have on the 2022 Global Champions League season. Thank you for joining us on GCTV as we get ready for this weekend's action right under the heart of the Eiffel Tower, right in the center of the Paris city. It is going to be a spectacular weekend of show jumping as we continue to deliver on our promise of bringing you the best show jumping in the world, and it will happen all right here on GCTV. Now, many will be claiming that if you're talking about the best in show jumping, you have to be talking about our 2022 championship leaders, the Stockholm Hearts. Despite a few wobbles, despite a few blips, somehow, after this many stages, they once again find themselves leading the championship. Let's go back and take a look at some of their star performances of this season.
A new team for this 2022 season. Stockholm Hearts has enough experience to maybe produce the first double clear. Ooh, that was a big rub. Malin Baryard Jonsson is clear. And so it's up to this man. It is the first double clear, and it is Stockholm Hearts that take the lead. The natural pace of both these horses is more than fast enough. But they do have to bring a double clear. That's 3 clears on the board now. 2 left. And it works. Stockholm Hearts win in Doha, full 7 seconds faster than Hamburg Giants. Stockholm Hearts at their home stage in front of thousands and thousands of fans. Malin Baryard Jonsson and Peder Fredriksson have to go all in. What an athletic man. Super safe and sharp jumping from Indiana. Another clear. And it's in his hands. Great reaction. And it is a win. Stockholm Hearts win the home stage.
And when you see that symbol from Peder Fredriksson, you know that success has been achieved. A wide shot to show you exactly where we are, to show you how the crowds are beginning to fill up as we get ready for stage 9 of the Global Champions League. I must tell you, there is no Peder Fredriksson for round 1 of the Global Champions League. There is no Malin Baryard Jonsson for stage 1 of the Global Champions League. We'll show you and remind you as to who then is jumping for your championship leaders in round 1 of the GCL. And we'll give you all the details and the rest of the starting lineup as well. For now, though, let's look back at the impact that the Stockholm leg had on the overall championship standings. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, jump all the way up to first place, relegating Berlin Eagles to 2nd and the Prague Lions, who had a very difficult weekend, down to 3rd. Shanghai Swans right up to 4th, and with some really good business in the mid-season transfer, Fredrik de Backer has already labelled them as true championship contenders. How high up the table can they now move come the end of the weekend? Drops for Madrid in Motion as well. Now, New York Empire and London Knights climb, Saint-Tropez Pirates and Cannes Stars drop, and no movement in the bottom 4, despite a really strong performance from the Paris Panthers last weekend in Stockholm. But as we discussed on The Insider, something that I'm sure you have watched already on GCTV is that it is not necessarily about overtaking your opponents each and every weekend, but that accordion effect that we speak about. It is about closing the gap. It is about making that springboard to try and attack the opponents that are in front of you come the latter parts of the season. That is how the new championship standings look. Let's catch up with Frederik de Backer and find out exactly how he is feeling for Global Champions League action today, right under the Eiffel Tower. New Instagram profile photo must have been taken already. Frederik, yes or no?
100%. Yeah, Instagram, straight away. There's the Be... Did you discover Be Real yet? Be Real is like the opposite of Instagram, where you have to take a picture instantly without filters. I took a Be Real picture and I took an Instagram picture. I took 1,000. I posted just one, actually. I have to be fair.
That's it. Global Champions League giving Frederik de Backer a new profile photo each and every week. Iconic setting after iconic setting, and this week's one right under the Eiffel Tower. Mr. de Backer, we were just chatting about Stockholm Hearts. It's a very new look feel to what we saw in Stockholm. Let's start with the championship leaders. Tell us who is coming out today and what can we expect from the non-Swedish lineup today?
So we've got Lily Atwood and Lily Keenan, who are going to feature this weekend, the entire weekend actually, on Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M. There are no other riders. It's just the two Lilies. Now, Mark, that is an omen, because the Lily is truly a French emblem, a French icon, a French symbol of success, of patriotism. So I do think that it is fitting that the Lilies have come to the country of the Lilies here in France and in Paris. However, their statistics aren't super. If you look at Lily Keenan's statistic, it's brilliant. Jumped one round straight away clear, that's 100%, but that's not enough volume, that's just one round. If you look at Lily Atwood, she has competed 4 times on the team, but no clears so far. An average penalties score of 4 per round, so 1 rail per round, is not really what makes this team straight away the favorite team of the weekend, with the two Lilies, Atwood and Keenan. By the way, it's Lily Keenan who comes in with a new horse, and a horse that she hasn't tested at the higher level yet. She only has one horse here, that is Queensland E. Queensland, who won the Copa del Rey a few years ago with Frank Schuttert in Madrid, the Sunday Grand Prix, and who won the Global Champions League here last year with Danny G. Waldman jumping clear and 4. So both Lily Keenan and Queensland can make it happen, can produce the results, but they have never proved it together, not at this level. So that is a little bit exciting. That is just waiting to see how that will turn out for both Lily Keenan and for Queensland E. But if you look at Lily Atwood, she is still looking for her first clear on the team.
Okay, well, will the two Lilies be able to cash in Paris this weekend? As Frederik points out, a very positive omen from a French perspective to have the two Lilies competing today. Frederik, stay with us for just a moment. We want to quickly try and bring up a quick graphic to just show you some of the mid-season transfers that I have no doubt you would have seen this week on the past episode of The Insider. A quick run-through of just some of those teams on screen. And there is no doubt that the Shanghai Swans there, as you see, Madelon Zanotelli and Martin Fuchs, are the big talking point of the weekend, because we remind you that Paris, this leg of the Global Champions League, is the very first stage where these new team members are able to come and compete. And we'll ask Frederik in a moment which of these new riders will already be competing this weekend. We caught up with Madelon Zanotelli this past week to find out how he feels about competing for the Shanghai Swans.
I have a very good group of horses, very good, and my plan at the shows doesn't change so much. I think we have a similar plan to the shows I was going to do in the second half of the season. My horses are jumping well. I try to help as I can with the team. I don't mean that they're going to be used all the time. I think they're very solid with Max and Christian, but if they need me, I'm there. I always enjoy riding the teams. I've been riding the teams since the beginning. I think it's a fun class. It's an interesting class for us riders, and I think I've been doing good for the team, so they all want to win. I think most of the teams wants to win. I'm a very competitive guy and I want to win, and I believe I'm a very good team player, so I think, yeah, we definitely could do very good together. They've been doing very good results in the past during the league. I think especially now in the last few shows they've been doing very good. So I think it's just to keep up the the rhythm of the really good results and try to stay. Hopefully the transfer will give a little boost to the team as well as an excitement, and looking forward to it.
Did you speak to your team members already?
Yeah, of course. They add me to the team group there on WhatsApp. They all were very nice, very kind and welcoming all of us and Martin, and had a couple of phone calls with Max, and I mean everybody's very professional, so I think it's easy to move into a team where everybody's so professional, so organized, and it makes our life easier.
Malon Zanetelli, there we see him in his brand new jumper in his Shanghai Swans kit with the Zanetelli on the left collar, walking alongside Olivier Robert. How will Malon Zanetelli perform this weekend for the Shanghai Swans, and just how dangerous does their business in the mid-season transfers then make them from a championship perspective? Something that Frederick de Backer pointed out, that it has to put them at least on par with Paris Panthers from a firepower perspective. Now, can it put them on par with the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, from a championship perspective? Right, Frederick, we just heard from Malon Zanetelli. We know that he is in Paris and will be featuring. Take us through then, who will the new faces be that we'll be seeing this weekend off the back of those transfers?
Well, a face that we won't see here, but that adds to that firepower of Shanghai Swans is obviously Martin Fuchs. Imagine just having Martin Fuchs and Zanetelli on your team. That's already a top 4 battling team, but then supported by Kuhner, by Sadran, and the others makes Swans super strong. Interesting signings of Miami Celtics, bringing in Edouard Schmitz and Jos Verlooy. Verlooy, who has come back with Igor now in good form and fit. Now, if you bring in 2 new faces, 2 new riders, you also have to drop 2 riders. Richard Vogel drops off Miami Celtics, which is not so unsurprising. His first part of the season wasn't super strong. It is a surprise, though, that they have dropped Anthony Condon. Now, Anthony Condon has produced the second best results, or has the second best stats on that team, on Miami Celtics, a team that sit 3rd last on the championship. Jumps half of his rounds clear, has an average of, 2.7 penalties per round. That's actually a great average, especially sitting on a team that sits so low on the leaderboard. So I'm quite surprised that they've dropped Anthony Condon, because they need his clear round percentage, they need his average, and the other rides that they've got on haven't proved to be better than Condon just yet. So it's a bit surprising to see that Miami Celtics have dropped Anthony Condon. Other than that, Pirates have now brought in... wait a minute. I've lost it here. I've lost it on my paper. But Adam Morgan has Edouard... I've lost it.
George.
I've lost it on my paper. Anyway, Central Bay Pirates have made a change. And also... Sorry? Emerick George, Spencer Smith. Thank you very much. Spencer Smith is always short. Emerick George, I lost it on my paper. So Adam Morgan hadn't competed just yet this season, and Emerick George comes on. We'll have to wait and see how he performs, but he's here already for the Pirates. Morgan, who hadn't competed at all this season, so it at least adds a rider with horses to that team. Central Bay Pirates, a team that has been struggling in the first part of the season. And also Rome Gladiators, a team midfield on the championship, bringing in Beth Underhill to replace Peter Clemens is an exciting addition, but Beth Underhill isn't here in Paris.
So news this week that Emerick George, he'll be jumping Diesel GP Dubois Madame today in round 1 of the Global Champions League. Great to have Spencer Smith on hand to just help us out here on GCTV. Now, Frederick, news broke this week, a very big story as far as show jumping is concerned, that the national Dutch authorities have found that Hamburg Giants rider Bart Bless has been found guilty for using prohibited substances back in April, a real shake-up in the show jumping world. He subsequently has now been suspended. This must be a massive blow for the rider. This must be a massive blow for the team as well. What kind of impact is this going to have on the Hamburg Giants?
Well, you have to look at Bless's statistics, and he was the star rider on the team. Appears 9 times, goes 7 times clear, has an average of 1.3 penalties per round. That's a super statistic. And whenever Bless, or often when Bless was on the team, he always produced at least 1 clear. So he was a valuable asset to the Hamburg Giants. He took the team twice on double clear to a podium finish. It was a win at his 2nd place. So Bless has played an important role in the success that Hamburg Giants have had. We've mentioned them punching above their weight. That's what we thought in the beginning, but it was Bless who consistently produced clear rounds for the team.
Absolutely. Remind us who is coming out for the Hamburg Giants tonight then?
Here we have Sara Vingralkova, under 25 rather, who will make an appearance for the team. She's a little bit of an unknown star. We still have to see how she will produce, how she will fare under the pressure, and she is alongside of Jur Vrieling.
All right, so a bit of pressure on the team to try and bounce back from that blow as well from a team perspective. Prague Lions as well bring in a former LGCT Grand Prix winning horse for today. They'll be feeling very happy about that. Talk to us about the lineup after dropping in Stockholm. Who do Prague Lions bring today, and how dangerous do you feel that they might be this weekend?
On paper, that's one of the strongest teams out of the top 4, top 5, top 6, maybe even more. Maybe it's the strongest lineup in round 1 of the entire field. If you look at who they bring, it's Brian Mowgli with Vivre de Rêve, and it's Sergio Moya with his Berlin Grand Prix winner with Alamo. And that's a very strong combination.
All right, well, Prague Lions, definitely one of the teams to look out for later on today for GCO Round 1. Brian Mowgli and, of course, Alamo and Sergio Moya coming in later on today. We'll keep you updated there. Frederick, take a break for us, please. We'll catch up with you again for the course walk in just a few moments' time, because we need to try and paint the picture for you as to just how big of an effort it is to set up a show jumping event in the heart of Paris, right underneath the Eiffel Tower. Imagine the logistics, imagine the coordination required to put together an event like this in such a super city. We caught up with Global Champion Sporting Director Marco Danesi to find out exactly what is required to put together a show like this on a weekend.
From the Eiffel Tower, I think we are something like between 200 and 300 meters, not more. This is a fantastic place, an iconic place to do any equestrian event. We have a lot of events of our series in the cities, and we are trying to have always places very interesting, iconic, where we can recognize easily the place and the city where we are. And this is a very good example with the Tour Eiffel on the back of the main arena. To build up this event is, I have to say, one of the most difficult ones, because the main arena is built on top of a fountain. So there is a hole of the fountain, and we have to work a lot to put the area flat, completely flat. We put some pieces of polystyrene to fill the hole of the fountain, and then on top of that we put some very strong mats, and then of course our sand and our fences and all the things we need technically. But there is a lot of work to build it, and it's quite difficult. It takes a long time, at least 15 to 20 days to prepare the area, to build the area. There are a lot of people working for that. It's not a normal event, of course, but it's also not a normal place.
So what do you like the most about this event?
Yeah, of course, the back is fantastic, but of course the atmosphere and the people enjoying in the city, and the access is free in the area, so a lot of tourists are really excited and surprised also to see the horses competing here. It's a strange atmosphere, it's very good. I think we'll have a very, very nice show, because we have a good level, a very good level of riders and horses. So I think we can show the top of our sport, and it's not normal to have that in the middle of the cities and free for the public.
We must give credit to Marco Danesi and the organizing staff for putting together that masterpiece right there. Trying to put together a show jumping arena over a fountain in the heart of Paris is no small feat. But we do it all for you here at the Global Champions as we prepare for GCL Round 1 live in Paris. Now, Ben Mayer had a really, really good weekend in Stockholm in the previous round of the Global Champions League. Just 4 penalties in Round 1, clear in Round 2. He then went on to go jump clear in the LGCT Grand Prix, make it into the jump-off and jump clear as well. So just 4 penalties over 4 rounds of jumping, and of course we know that he brought explosion back into the mix as well. We caught up with the Olympic champion to find out just how he felt about bringing explosion out for the first appearance of Global Champions League last weekend.
Explosion was great, better than expected, to be honest. He's obviously an incredible horse, but I know that he normally needs time and rounds to get to his best. It's about the only horse I can say that with. I don't feel that he was at his best, and he jumped 3 clear rounds.
And still go 4th?
That's crazy to say that, but he jumped great. I just didn't feel that day was the right time to push everything and take all the risk with him. But I was very, very happy with the result.
what is a good weekend for Ben Meer and for Paris Panthers here at the home stage?
Hopefully 2 wins in the right classes.
2 wins.
We need to get our team going a little bit. We say it all the time, but we had a great round, second round there in Stockholm. We pulled back a lot, but it just hasn't been good enough as a team, not what we expect.
What is the ambition now for the team? Is it top 4? What is realistic, you think?
I think I'm not the team manager, so I have to be careful how we push a bit. At the end of the day, the paper doesn't lie. We're struggling. We're not going to win the championship, but we keep pushing every week. I mean, it still does the team no harm if we try to win this week. We keep pushing hard, but I think it's been seen and it's been done before. Maybe a little bit weaker team through the season comes through at the end in Prague for the finals, and that will be, I think, will shift our mentality and our goals a little bit towards Prague. Obviously, we'll try to push up to the top 4. I just don't know. We would have to go on a very good run. I think you know all the stats and everything, but we'd need a very good run even to make the top 4 at this point.
You are not coming to Monaco, but you've got very important appointments after Monaco.
Then I have a couple of weeks off, and yeah, my wife had due a baby, so take a little bit of family time, home time, give the horses a rest, and we look forward to coming back. Probably in London would be the next stop for the GCT for us.
So first, we must say congratulations to Ben Meer and his wife, of course, expecting a child, and due to understandably and justifiably taking some time off to be with his family. Outstanding, and love from the Global Champions family to you, Ben Meer, and yours. But if we take a look at the interview, a really, really big confession from Ben Meer, acknowledging that the Paris Panthers will not go on to win the championship. The numbers might suggest, of course, that probabilities are there, but it just shows that the conversation inside the Paris Panthers camp has perhaps become slightly more realistic, where they now begin to target Prague and will start looking ahead to the GC playoffs later on this year, hoping that they can surprise and still go on and perform well in the GCL Super Cup later this year. So Paris Panthers might not be targeting the overall championship win, but they still know that there is a lot to play for as they try and push towards the GC playoffs later on. Back to Fredrik de Backer we go as we get ready to find out exactly how this course is going to play out. Fredrik, over the last couple of weeks, we've spoken a lot about slope. And I believe now that the slope in particular in Paris is incredibly prominent. Talk to us about that slope and how big we're talking here.
Well, you just spoke with, or you just heard the interview with Marco Danese explaining how this venue came together. So they put styrofoam blocks inside the fountain. Then they cover the fountain with wood, and on top they put the sand as we see it. If it would rain, you want the rain to flush away to the sides and not drain through the sand. So they have to create a dome so that the rain doesn't collect in the fountain and everything starts to float. So that is why they've created quite some dome shape. But it is such a small arena, it is the most significant shape or ring where you find that slope. Like if you walk to the end of the ring here, you really feel that you're going down, and I've just traveled or walked 3 meters, and I think I've dropped maybe 20, 30 centimeters. Now, that fact that this bottom line is on such an angle, it has a big impact also on the fences. And our course designer, of course, has got to play with it. If you look, for example, at this fence, how this fence is positioned, this is the lowest side of the ring. And if you see that, there's just one hole that is free. Now, if you walk to the other side of this fence, you see that we've got 2 holes free, and that makes a big, big difference. So this is more or less 5 centimeters per hole. So basically, the course designer, Gregory Baudot, has to work a little bit with those fences and make one side higher than the other one to at least make the rails level. Not level with the ground, but level with the surroundings, what would be level in a normal situation. So that makes it very special. Also, if you look at the final fence there, fence 13, it also gives you that same feeling that the ground is going down that way, but the fence needs to be level. So it's always jumping on that slope, but especially on the rollbacks. You're going down in the rollback and then you're coming back up. That is, for example, the case, what is it, at fence 5, 6 actually. That's quite a significant slope jumping up the hill, and that'll take a lot of energy out of the horses to work the balance, but also come out of the turn and work up the hill again. You know how tough it is when you have to go running up a hill. It just asks a lot of energy and a lot of power.
That is absolutely crazy. So just to clarify, the slope is so prominent here that course designer Gregory Bordeaux has forced to almost put somewhat of an angle in the fences to try and straighten it for the riders and for the horses. And if I look over your shoulder, Frederick, and I see that final line, it gives us the impression, you're right, that you are slanting down into the crowd. I can imagine that you talk about balance. How tricky is the rest of the course going to be then for the riders today?
Well, he plays with that, and he plays with it slightly. He's a very smart man, this Gregory Bordeaux. I'm looking at the line from 8 to 9, which has also got quite some slope. We'll just go walking to the other side of the ring if you got some time, Mark. It is after an interesting inside turn. There's a very big oxer of the Global Champions League. This is actually the highest part of the ring, and then you go down again. Now, that's this kind of slope, but there's another one. There's a slope in several angles or several directions, multi-dimensional. So you've got this slope going down, but there's another one going that way. So over the Global Champions League oxer, there's a 5-stride approach into what is a very delicate combination of 9A and 9B. It depends all on how you jump that oxer, but then coming over that oxer down the line here, that really will test a little bit the balance. Now, it's not just the balance. Look at this fence itself. 3 rails, very light wings, nothing to back the horses off. A big difference, for example, than the fence of Turkish Airlines. Very light material. Again, I think that here you can see it again. The difference in the holes on top. There's 2 holes free here. There's 1 hole free at the other side. So again, here you've got this slope, but you also have the slope down the hill towards the grandstands. That makes it so interesting, this first round of Global Champions League, Mark.
Frederick, it makes it feel as if this is going to be an incredibly tricky opening round of Global Champions League for the riders to deal with. Of course, they'll have to deal with this again on Saturday, depending on what Gregory Bordeaux puts out. But what does Paris then tell us from a scores point of view, from a penalties point of view? How tricky or how possible is it going to be to keep these penalties as low as possible today?
Well, that is the funny thing about this course. When I walked it, when I spoke with the riders, everything actually walks and seems fairly jumpable. So I didn't see anything that say, wow, this is a big test. This is difficult. How are they going to get out of this? I can't really point that out for you here. It's especially those verticals. When you come out of the turn, those verticals come up quite tall. Especially jumping up the hill. That is something that really stands out for me. And the double combination at the side that I just spoke about. But in fairness, this feels jumpable. But we've often seen, Mark, you and me, own Global Champions League, that when something feels jumpable, you ride in with a lot of confidence and you just ping, 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 easily jump the fences out. I have to give credit to this man, though. It is the one and only Spencer Smith who helped me out with Emerick George. I will never forget that name from now on. Thanks to you, Spencer. Thank you very much for that. Just analyzing the course, at first glance, it feels very jumpable.
Yeah, I think it's not overly big. There's some careful spots. The end of this combination, I think, will fall a little bit today, and there's a few things that are a little bit deceiving, I'd say.
But it doesn't feel massive. It doesn't feel overwhelming.
No, it's not. And I think that's correct for the first day. You know, it's a long week, and we have to build into it. And I think rails will come down anyway, in a good way.
All right, we have to close. You have to get ready. We'll let you go. Best of luck, Spencer Smith, New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. We close here in Paris because we have to go back to the studio, Mark.
All right, thank you very much. Frederick de Backer getting some thoughts from Spencer Smith as well. So, Global Champions League Round 1 live from Paris coming your way in a few moments' time. Very jumpable, but a tricky slope to deal with. Stay with us here on GCTV as we bring you Round 1 next here, live from Paris.